Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. Yes, this is me, Kemi Akeode Adebayo, aka Mama K. In today's program is a special one again where we're going to be celebrating 6 Inspiration African Leaders Part 2. So this is a compilation of various conversations that I had with the 6 amazing women and men. 3 men and 3 women, by the way. So we're going to be listening, not in any particular order, my conversations with Mrs. Ziggy Owe, Ngozika Owe, who is an entrepreneur who does a lot, in the community as well, in Nigeria and in South Africa. Well, I was asking her about various, social issues she's passionate about and what are the solutions to them. Then I was fortunate as well to have Miss Maimuna Diapolo Baba share a story of, especially of life, growing up with, working with a father in business. So she's from Cameroon, lives in South Africa and other places and of other nationality. And I had a conversation with this young, amazing woman, Miss Ronke Killebs. She is the manager for the Life Mending Radio, a student and graduating, I believe, or graduated already, and a lot of other things. So I asked her as well how she manages combining being a pastor's daughter as well as being a radio broadcaster and provider and everything else in between. Then, another young man, Mr. Moses, who is from Congo, DRC. And I was asking him as well how he got into becoming an entrepreneur. So yes, he's been doing this. He's an amazing, super intelligent young man who has done a lot, for himself. And then, wow, my brother from another mother, Mr. Atose Aguele, who does a lot in the oil and gas business as well. I was asking him as well how he got into the business and how he has managed, to work his way up. He's a Nigerian like me, and I learned so much from the full interview that we had. And last but not the least, another brother from another mother. Yes, I have lots of them. Mr. Abdikadir Mohammed. He is the chairperson, president, main person to go to for the Somali Association of South Africa, SASA for short. And I was blessed to have that conversation with him to find out as well how SASA started, how he got involved, what he's been involved with, what they do in SASA. And trust me, SASA does a lot in South Africa. They're helping a lot of Somalians, to settle down, and they're, doing a lot as well to promote their culture and their organization here in South Africa. And as well, they work with other non-South Africans as well. So enjoy. So this one is, I want to bring us back now to being in South Africa or being a Nigerian and an African, where we have a lot of social issues, from poverty, unemployment, gender-based violence, and so much, disparity between the rich and the poor, health challenges, infrastructure. I could go on and on. Yeah. Is there any issue for you that you're passionate about? And I know you've supported your daughters with the project when they had a project they were doing in the community. Mm-hmm. So is there any project that any social issue, that you're kind of keen on? I've had people say, I want something to be done with the elderly. What are we doing with the elderly? What are we doing with the men or boys, and so on. So is there any issue that speaks to you? And what are the solutions to, how can we promote that solution? So I need you to tell me what the issue is, and then what do you think can be done about that so that people can hear?
I mean, this is a very, very important question, because at the end of the day, if you're not impacting your environment in whatever you do, to be honest, I'm not sure how much contribution one can really make. And there's recently I got connected with a gentleman on a trip I made to Austria, and he shared with me about a lady he met online that is actually doing great work in Cape Town. I'm yet to meet her, and what she's doing really resonated with me, and I would love to, lend my support in any way and just be helpful. One, because like I told you, I'm passionate about being a wife and a mother. Those two things I really enjoy, and I gave it my all, even while doing my business. Secondly, the young people in our environment or in our society are the people that will become the adults tomorrow. Yeah. So a lot of the things we see going wrong now is because we have failed ourselves from the family circle to actually, nurture and raise the tomorrow the way it should be done. So when you have everyone out there and no one paying attention to that unit, so everything starts from the family unit. Now this lady, she helps young girls who get pregnant to become good mothers. And so that's another angle. It's not just saying, oh, how do you help them get another person to take care of this child and all of that so they can go back to school and all. You have now taken this decision, you've made the mistake or to have the child before you were ready, maybe 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old. How can you now look at that as a good place to be, love this child and be a good mother to this child so that the history does not repeat itself? If you notice with all these problems, it's a vicious circle. So we have to find a way to break that vicious circle. So that's something I know that I'm really, really interested in. It's not my idea, like I said, it was from this lady, but I'm really excited to work with her and to support. And one way we can really solve some of these problems, like you said, is exactly this issue of, like her, trying to get as many mentors as possible to mentor these young people. And to trust, share, and encourage and share that our own experiences and processes with them, and hope that in the absence of that proper family unit to actually nurture the future of tomorrow, we're able to step in and begin to give back in that sense. So everything starts from that family unit. That's the way I look at it. Yes.
Challenges for you as a child? Because sometimes people think or feel that, you have a wealthy father or parent or mother or whatever, then life is easy for you. What kind of challenge, for you do you want to share, with us in terms of either your dad or your family business or whatever?
In my case, I think the first challenge was the fact that I'm a very outspoken person. Let's say, you can even say I'm a boyish, that's how this exactly. So, being the eldest daughter, I had to show the example to my siblings, you see. So I couldn't afford myself to do anything that I wanted to do. And actually, I would not say I missed anything of that, but my parents and my brothers had a lot of trust in me. So because of that trust, I can tell you I've never done anything wrong when I was in Switzerland. Unfortunately for all my friends, because they wanted to do parties in the house, and I was like, no. My father will be very disappointed if he heard that, so no. So anyways, and then the other thing I think that's very challenging to all wealthy kids is the fact that people think that everything is very easy for us, which is actually not. Because sometimes we really, let's say you want to do, first of all, we want to do things by ourselves because we have, all of us have our personal talent, okay? And then we want to do things by ourselves, but when we need help, people assume that, how come you need help, you're the daughter of, or the son of, and it's very, very hard, you see? And I think that people don't.
And that must be tough.
It's horrible.
I remember recently I heard you use that term that money does not buy you happiness.
Money doesn't buy you happiness at all. Yeah. Actually, money brings a lot of headache in your life, unfortunately.
Well, a lot of people will say, no, but why do you have that headache? That's what some people will tell you.
But trust me, the thing is that you have people coming around you, you don't know if they really love you for who you are. That's very bad. And like my dad, there is one case where that was quite shocking for me, where my dad was saying that, told us, I remember we had a meeting with my two sisters at that time, And he said to me, let me tell you something. Girls from rich family are not good girls to get married with. And we were like, what are you talking about? He was like, because your daddy gives you everything. So when you get married to someone who doesn't have the same level as you, you're going to say, okay, let's say you say you want this bag and you say you cannot afford it. You're going to say, okay, it's fine. You're just going to take your phone and say, Dad, I want this. Then, or when you have your husband is from the same level as you, he says that there's still a kind of a competition. Okay? So
it's tough.
Yes, but I think that maybe he went overboard because he didn't want any of us to get married. So he was like, you know what, just stay with your dad, it's better for you girls, you know. And I'm sure that was his plan, okay? Anyway, that's what he said at the end.
I'm sure he will say it a different way if he was here.
Yeah.
So we don't know for sure. But what is the Somali Association of South Africa about? What does it do? When was it started? How did you get involved?
Okay, the Somali Association of South Africa is a non-profit organization formed in 1996 and registered in 1999 with the Department of Social Development. That time they even call it welfare department.
Right, right.
That time I was not in the country, but that was formed by other Somali brothers who have seen the gap in between in terms of the needs of the community. For example, refugees, asylum seekers in the country, and there's no diplomatic mission. There was no embassy. By the way, there has never been an embassy, Somali embassy in South Africa before 2012.
Really?
The whole of it, yeah. The reason is because by the time Somalia was independent, they established missions around the world, but they didn't want to establish a mission in South Africa because of appetite.
Okay.
So it was a kind of a protest against appetite.
Right, right.
So,
interesting.
And the time South Africa got independence, 1994, the country was already in civil war.
Right.
So it was not possible to establish it. So the brothers, they found that gap, that there is no, there are no representatives from the community who can be able to help the community or, liaise with government in case there's any need. And there was that need to have an organization that can represent the community. So it was the first Somali organization formed in South Africa.
Okay.
The oldest and, the first. And the reason was because there was need for a representation of the community.
And for the welfare of the Somalian community.
And even sometimes they represented the country back home. In issues where there is no embassy representation. They used to go there, put the flag there.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
But after that now, things have changed. And people have led the organization. It's a national organization, and different people have came to lead and left. But in 2011, that's when I joined the organization. And I was interested in it because I was also feeling the need for people to get help. So I was passionate of helping others. And now by that time, I was very experienced in terms of the challenges I faced.
That you had faced.
South Africa,
You've won the T-shirt, you've done it, been there.
I've seen
so you could help other
yes,
people, that are coming in.
So that is the time when I joined Somali Association. And by that time, I was not in a leadership position. I started now going up the ranks from being a spokesperson to secretary to deputy. That time there was the system of chairperson and chairman, and vice chairperson. And then in 2012, I became director of Somali Association Western Cape. And in 2013 is when we have opened this office here. It existed, but it existed somewhere else before me. So from that moment, my work was just with the community, advocating for the community. But we had different, stages that the organization came through. So most of the things were done on volunteer basis. People were volunteering throughout the years. And our programs were always, on promoting self-reliance
Right.
and integration of refugees and asylum seekers. So teaching them about their rights and responsibilities and trying to create that social cohesion environment whereby people could be integrated into the South African community. And there were a lot of experiences that we cannot count one by one. But coming to the achievements that we so far have
Done,
achieved, it's a lot of achievements that the organization has.
Just share with us one.
Yeah.
Share with us one that because I can see a lot of certificates and awards and so on. Yeah.
So one of them was the time that in 2016, when the Minister of Home Affairs or the Ministry of Home Affairs has recognized and awarded me as one of the winners in the category of civil society NGO in the work that I've been doing. So what I've been doing was not something that just went away, not being noticed. It has been noticed. And in 2016, they gave me an award. They call it Mkaya Migrants Award.
Wow.
Which is for civil society NGO. And it is through the work of Somali Association that I have been awarded for that award. Wow. And in 2016 as well, I'm sure you are aware of the time that you are part of this as well, whereby in Tigerberg area, we have been recognized as the NGO of the year 2016. And there are a lot of other achievements with regards to, soccer, football, awards. There were also other achievements whereby we have been invited to international platforms. Wow. Like, for example, in 2015, we have been invited to the Global Humanitarian Summit that was happening in Switzerland. And I forgot to mention also in 2009, our national director at that moment, Ahmed, was invited to Geneva by the United Nations to represent all refugees and asylum seekers in South Africa.
Amazing. So how do you achieve balance, as a pastor's daughter, student, radio producer, host, everything. What else did I miss there? How do you achieve balance?
Firstly, I think I'm quite bad with time management. Okay. Because it feels like since this year began, final year, so it feels like I don't have time for myself. It got to the point where I was literally arguing with my father because I wanted to make my hair and he needed me to do some technology stuff. And I'm like, I'm making my hair. And he was like,
it's me time.
It's me time. So I'm still trying. I'm working towards close perfection when it comes to combining everything. But I'm someone that's always open to a challenge. So every challenge, like it's a daily challenge, and I feel like I always set my goals, like daily tasks, and I make sure I meet up with it. So it also gives me that extra time to spend with family, sleep, and work at night for school and all those stuff.
So you're trying to find I always tell people as well sometimes, because I juggle a lot of things as well, and when people ask me about balance, and I'm like, but balance could be that way as well, and I can move it like that as well. And it's no balance. So this week I feel like sleeping more. This week I'm working so hard, and then next week I'm like other way. So, but anyway, so what motivates you as a person?
I believe it's firstly my parents. I always make reference to my country. Back in Nigeria, in the olden days, they believed that women, like female children, their place is in the kitchen. So female children should not get degrees. Female children should not do this, do that. So
because they're going to get married.
Exactly. Anyway. So they feel it's like a waste. So my father has decided to make sure that all his kids, all 4 of his daughters, get degrees, and that motivates me a lot. The fact that this man that's supposed to be one of the reasons why I should have gotten married at the age of 10 or something actually believes that a woman should get education, a woman should have her own money, a woman should be able to secure herself. So I believe that's one thing that motivates me, wakes me up every morning. You need to do this, you need to do this, because your father, your family, they believe in you. So that's one of my biggest motivations.
Kudos to your dad. Let's now talk about your entrepreneurship journey. How has that been? When did you start?
This journey has started when I was like 14 back home. What my mindset was kind of set into this field of entrepreneurship. When I was back home, my father used to have an internet cafe, which I was seeing. With his piloting, he was a pilot. Because
they get time off.
Yes, yeah. So he built this internet cafe, like a side kind of thing, and I was single-handedly handling that business. I was the one who was there, working there, and that kind of, set me on the path of, wanting to do my own thing, because the thing is, I believe that. Being a child, childhood is a period of time where a child is programmed. Their subconscious is programmed. Whatever they are doing when they are a child, it's going to be the momentum I was speaking about. So that kind of, being working for my father, it kind of gave me the taste of, wanting to do my own thing when I grew up. So that's what set me to the path of doing computer-related things like graphics design and all that, because that is what I grew up doing. So when I came to this country, I was studying, but while I was studying, I was also doing my side gigs, to find something, bread and all that. So yeah, I always had that spirit, that drive to always, do my own thing. Because I have, when it comes to the normal way people are living, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. And I think I will go into detail on that. But basically, yeah, so that's how I got my spirit of entrepreneurship. It started when I was young, and then I kind of grew up into it. Yeah.
That's interesting. So now your journey as an entrepreneur, so you do graphic design people.
Yes.
You have an internet cafe.
I have an internet cafe.
Where is that?
It's in Belleville.
In Belleville,
okay, yes.
So you employ people?
Yes, I've actually employed 5 people so far.
Wow, well done.
I have to say I'm kind of proud of myself.
You're proud of yourself.
So
Can I ask how old you are? Can I be nosy?
I'm 25 now.
25. Wow, well done.
Yeah. And it's not every 25 years old who can, say that they have had people under their employment,
Correct.
So it's
that's why I asked,
whenever I think of that, I'm like, kudos, Moses. Yeah.
And it's good you actually acknowledging that as well, and you're proud of yourself, in that. So.
Yeah.
How or why, was it a natural thing for you to get into business, or this is something that you had dreamed about, being a business person and an entrepreneur?
I think certainly my family background had a lot to do with.
What position are you in the family, by the way?
So I'm the first.
Oh, you're the first child. Okay. Right, sorry.
So business was always a part of, my father started the gas business when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
So I grew up
in that
business.
environment,
So
in the business.
And prior to that, I've had great-grandfather who was quite a very successful businessman,
right,
on my mother's side. So I think business was always a part of the family. It was a natural thing to go into. Even though my father is a trained engineer, he's really a businessman. So we always had conversations, and I remember having mock board meetings with my siblings.
Really?
We sit around the dining table and pretend that we had we were board of directors.
Oh, okay. Are you? So, well, you're always a chairman.
I was always a chairman. And so that was so it was certainly natural that I went into business. So I think that's really the reason.
So what kind of challenges, for you have you faced? Because you are a successful, business person. I know very well. You've done very well for yourself and making us proud, as a Nigerian in South Africa. What kind of challenges? Because I'm sure it's not been totally smooth sailing. There will be challenges along the way. What challenges have you encountered and how have you managed, to overcome them?
I think I think most young entrepreneurs, and the challenge that I faced as a young entrepreneur was that, there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and being a manager.
True.
And I think, unfortunately, you don't realize that till you have problems in the business, right? And so you can be very talented as an entrepreneur, and you're able to create something from nothing. But managing that takes different sets of skills.
Correct.
And I think that's where many young entrepreneurs, including myself, have run into some trouble. But of course, as you grow and you build your business, the thing is, it's very expensive school fees to learn how to be a good manager. And I think that's some of the issues young entrepreneurs like myself faced. So there've been challenges, of course. Just having to operate on the continent it throws up all kinds of challenges, opportunities, of course, but also challenges. And so we've obviously had to adapt to those challenges.
Right.
But certainly I wouldn't trade it in for anything else.
I can imagine. I really hope you've been inspired by those amazing 6 inspirational African leaders, I call them. They live in South Africa or in other parts of Africa as well, and they're doing great things within their organizations, their business, their community, and their faith organization as well. Wow, I was just so blessed with all of them, from the young to the older ones as well, and going from Somali to Nigeria to Congo. Amazing. We need to continue to celebrate each other. We need to be able to impact lives positively wherever we find ourselves. And this is what all these people are doing. They're doing amazing work in their various communities. Till next time, I know, don't worry, that's me signing off. It's Mama K. God bless. God is love. Love you all.